What's up, everybody? It's your favorite little Scorpion's favorite nerd, and today we are looking at the Iron Factory Lord Scorpion, I think is his name. Yes, Scorponok. And he's pretty cool. He's on loan to me from Robert D. If you want to find the skit today, ladies and gents, it'll be at the end of the video after the credits. It's a little private joke kind of a thing going on, and it takes a little bit of an explanation and kind of messes up the mood of the video to kind of handle that now. It comes with a few accessories, one of which is this rifle. Gray plastic, but it does have the metallic flecks in it, and then translucent orange throughout, which kind of matches the translucent orange used in the figure. It plugs in into the palm, and then you can kind of clip everything around. It works perfectly. He also comes with this thing, which we'll talk about a little bit later, but it has the translucent on the inside, and it has these pincers that open and close. They're chrome. The rest is this, once again, this metallic gray, and then the silver is painted on. Has a 5mm peg here, which plugs in to the arm there. The fingers also open and close, which allow you to take this piece and plug it in to, got a little hair caught up in the mix here. We'll worry about it later. It plugs into there, and then you can plug any 5mm weapon into that, from my understanding. We can try it with this. You might need a longer peg, but yeah, then he can hold that like a gun. So that's pretty cool. 5mm weapons and such is a gimmick that Iron Factory is quite fond of. So I think it's cool that they would add that little piece to kind of allow you to incorporate their other weapons and upgrade sets and so forth they've released in the past. Now let's talk about the figure. Okay, so for the head, lots going on. We have that same metallic flecked gray. We have this orange paint. We have red paint. We have purple paint and silver paint, and it's all done really well. Also, this opens up and this comes out, and it's his little headmaster. Simple transformation, just rotate the legs down, and then the only articulation you get out of them is a little bit of movement here. We will put this back, though, for the sake of looking at something beautiful and not something half finished. Okay, so the head itself is on a ball peg. The ball peg is connected to the neck, to the head rather, and then goes down into the torso, so you get up to there, down to there, and then the swivel. I would be cautious manipulating from these spikes, as you can get a lot of torque. It is a tight joint and snap, right? So for the shoulders, you got a hinge here inside the torso that allows you to get the arm up to about there. There's an additional hinge at the shoulder which allows you to get it's on a soft ratchet, a couple clicks up. These turrets, these articulate. And I thought they do. Maybe it's just these that... No, they do. They're just tight. So all the turrets both swivel, and then the barrels rotate up and down. They have this same finish on there. The problem is they were all cut off the sprue, so they all have these little markings along where they were connected to the sprue, and it is kind of ugly. So you get the arm basically to 90 degrees up on the shoulder, and then you get the swivel all the way around. Bicep swivel at the bottom of the shoulder, and then a single jointed elbow that gets you 90 degrees, and then you also get an additional weird kind of pincer here, like it's like a hinge after the elbow. Now this is for Scorpion mode and whatnot, but I think it actually is pretty cool. I'm not sure if I'd like to see it on more figures or not, but you can get a little bit of dynamic poses out of it. It's weird and it's ugly, but it does work. For the hands, you have... Oh, well, you know what? I guess it kind of works as a wrist hinge if you really think about it. So I think that works really well. I'm gonna attest it to that. I wish they did swivel, but I guess you got to get it at the bicep. A thumb hinge and the fingers are on the same hinge, but you can articulate them individually. As for paint, we have this metallic gray finish, and then we have this it's like a darker purple inside of that purple, and then the translucent orange for accents. For the torso, we have this the silver, once again, the gunmetal. We have a swivel at the waist. It seems like you should get a ab crunch out of that somehow, but you don't. Articulation for the other hand is the same. We'll go through the legs when we get there, the scorpion legs. So we have universals for hips. They get you the full Monty and the full Van Damme, no problem. We have silver paint on the thighs, right below the thigh swivel. We have a little bit of silver paint on the pelvis. We have a knee that gets you a hinge at 90 degrees, and then we have the same turrets on the back of the legs, and they have the same articulation that we've seen, but some of them are tight. And then we have the silver accents, the same. These pieces come off as well. So I guess these could be weapons if you really wanted them to be. And then for the feet, they are on ball pegs. So you get down, up, and the slightest bit of a rocker, silver paint on the foot. So all in all, a pretty articulated bot. And a fairly fun and cool size, honestly. Alright, so let's go to base mode. I've taken off the head, the guns, the accessories, and the side pieces that we talked about. So bring the arms up and like on the angle, like as far as they go, and straighten them out. And then bring the legs up and rotate at the thigh until the guns are sitting up on top. Then you can collapse the feet and the heel. You got to pull the backpack away, and then you got to rotate the backpack around. Bring this piece down, and I'm going to have a hard time staying oriented, aren't I? Let's see here. This piece down. Oh yeah, and then spin this. Bring this up into the crotch, and just sit that flush up against the bottom. And then the final step really is just making sure that the scorpion legs are oriented. And there's two different ways to do it. The instructions have it laying flat, and then a lot of the pictures and promotional images and box art and stuff have them all up like this. I'm going to do one side, and then we'll clean up and take a look at it so that it's kind of like this, and then you can kind of come up with whatever little wacky design you want. So I'll get it cleaned up and we'll look at it. Alright, so here's base mode, and what I decided to go with was rotating all the guns so that they're kind of pointing out. Having the front two, I set the stand little guy up here. You plug this piece, which is the shield, at a 90-degree angle into the pelvis, and then I have the first two claws out like this, the second two up a little higher, and then the third set down a little bit, and then I use the fourth set to kind of brace the back weight. Put the silver things with the bits facing up, and then the gun facing up, and that's what I went. I think this is pretty cool. I'm fairly lenient when it comes to base mode, and to me this is one of the better ones that I've seen. I think it works fairly well. I think it's interesting, and I think it looks like a little outpost somewhere. You know, I dig it. It has a it has a presence. It's strong. I like it. And not that it makes sense or that you'd ever have any kind of scaled figures that it would make sense with, but still pretty interesting. Okay, so stripped of all accessories, we'll go to Scorpion mode. We're just going to get the legs out of the way because we're going to have to orient them later. And we're going to bring the legs down. And, oh my goodness, you guys can't see a thing. Let me adjust the camera. So we're going to split right here. You should be able to see that there's a joint here. Bring this around and back. And it notches in, but I'm not exactly sure where, but you can feel it go. Hope that didn't break. And we'll go to the other side. So there we go. And that's the back of it. And I probably should have done this first, but we'll open this up and we'll bring out this visor. And the visor will open all the way around to cover the front of the face. And you can have the face in or out, doesn't really matter. We're going to keep it out for suspension of disbelief. And then we're going to turn these legs around. Very exciting stuff, I know. And then we're going to bring the scorpion tail Is that? Oh, it does have a bit of an ab crunch. I wonder if you might not be able to do it because the scorpion, this bit, sits on the other side. I'll try when we get to robot mode again. I told you it felt like it should. We'll bring this back around to the back side. Make sure that this is all in place. feel like, yeah, there we go. There. Bring the Scorpion arms down and around. I'll get it cleaned up and we'll take a look at it, but that's basically it. So what I did was I put this on the side of the arm, and I have these silver pieces facing out. I think in the directions they face the other way, and they may even plug in down there. I don't remember, but that's one of the nice things about Iron Factory is that there's a lot of interchangeability with accessories and kind of customization, for lack of a better term, that the consumer can do. Like, it's kind of up to the consumer. So the Scorpion pincers, basically, you get the same arm articulation, right? No surprise there. And then, of course, the claws. And the tail kind of moves up and down at different hinges. Let's see, we have one bottom hinge and then a hinge here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. This swivels and this spins as well on the top. This doesn't really plug in. Like, it sits flush against the back, but it doesn't quite plug in. And outside of that, that's really my only complaint. Actually, even the legs, like, they're secure, but they're not super secure. I don't know how else better to explain that, but it's still a pretty cool little Scorpion. If you plan on keeping him in this mode, what I advise you do is take this rear leg and stick it underneath this portion of the thigh. It'll help support the weight a lot better than that. If you just place it kind of coincidentally underneath there. You can even get one underneath there and do the same on the other side, and you got a pretty secure Scorpion mode. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I dig it. I dig it a lot. And size comparison wise, there he is with some other Iron Factory legends and Hasbro legends for a sense of scale. I do think he should have been a bit bigger. Like, I think if he would have been a full Voyager size figure, that would have been better. And the reason why I say that is because they got a Bruticus coming, and I wonder how big the Bruticus is going to be in comparison, especially with this guy having a base mode. Final thoughts wise, the negatives that I have are that there's some tolerance issues. Tolerance in terms of mainly where this stuff plugs in. Sometimes the connections are too tight, or as you saw throughout, pieces falling off, sometimes they're not tight enough. And I feel like that's extremely problematic, especially with these long pieces here that you can kind of use a lot of torque on to snap a piece off. As you can see, I did get that diaphragm joint, or that ab crunch, to work a bit, so that's cool. I wish there was more ankle articulation, and that's really my only complaints with this guy. I've actually reviewed a lot of these Iron Factory figures. I just haven't released the reviews yet because I'm kind of holding on to a lot of them for rainy days. And I just recently said that one was my favorite, but I have to take that back and say that this is my newest favorite. I think with the amount of paint, the accessories, the interchangeability and fun factor of the accessories, the 3 modes all work fairly well with simple transformations that are fun and enjoyable. And with the exception of the pieces falling off or not moving as you would like them to, overall I think this is a very efficient and effective piece. So yes, I strongly recommend it if you're a fan of the character, if you're a fan of the scale, or if you're a fan of the company. And I hope that helps. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care. So there is a bit of a unfair criticism that I receive that I am unable to be put on to new things. I have to put someone else on to new things. But it's just not true. It all started with my co-host, Mr. Adam Russman, on Nerd Rage Radio, saying that I was a funny finder. I'm the one that has to find something funny and then show you. You can't find something funny and show me, I'll dismiss it. It's not true. He recently put me onto the Joe Rogan Triggered special on Netflix. Loved it. He also put me onto Game of Thrones. In the past, many people have put me onto figures that I would have had no real idea about, including SH Figuarts' Bruce Lee, DX9's Mitron I enjoyed a fair bit. There are others. But what happened here is that Robert D sent me this little note. And he sent me the little note in the package. He listens to Nerd Rage, and he has co-signed Mr. Adam Russman's criticism. Here is the note. Dear Mr. Skullface, the figure is fine. He's okay. Not a big deal. No one really cares. If you like it, you win. He's not everyone's cup of tea. He's not for everyone. It is my understanding that his aesthetic scaling is based off the comics. I could be wrong. P.S. The gray piece pegs into his claw to create a 5mm port for other Iron Factory weapons. Feel free as a bird to be fickety. Love, Robert D. Dear Mr. Funny Finder. Now, here's the thing. I actually really enjoyed this figure. But he's going to think that I really enjoyed it because he didn't give it a hard sell. Like when Adam tries to turn me on to something, he usually gives a hard sell. And then he thinks that I'm rebuking that hard sell by not liking it. It has nothing to do with the sell. It just has to do with my sensibilities. It just so happens in this specific case, I did like the figure and it was a soft sale. They're not connected. They might be connected. Screw you guys.